Deeply divided Congress, as one point on which all agree is that something should be done should Russia actually invade Ukraine. This is a completely bipartisan position. There's legislation being debated by both Republicans and Democrats as to what should be done should that happen. However, although there's total agreement on the need for sanctions, there is debate about what form should they take. Last night, a Republican Senator, Ted Cruz, attempted to introduce legislation sanctioning the Nord 2 pipeline between Russia and Germany. Now, this is a delicate issue for the Biden administration. It was defeated in the Senate because the Biden administration position is very clear on this, is that sanctions against Russia cannot also involve any form of punishment against an ally like Germany. So it's a very difficult tightrope for the Biden administration to walk. Within the Senate, some Republicans saying this just shows that the Biden administration continues to be soft on Russia, that it would not accept a sanction like, for example, on that Nord 2 pipeline.
Al Jazeera's Mike Hanna reporting live from Washington. Mike, many thanks indeed. America's East Coast last year. Let's bring in Al Jazeera's John Hendren, who's in Chicago. John, tell us more about this case.
Well, it's an extraordinary cooperation at an extraordinary time in U.S.-Russian relations. The Russian government has directly informed the U.S. that it has gone after the group R-Evil, which the U.S. believes attacked the Colonial Pipeline in May, disabling it in one of their many ransomware attacks. There's also a meatpacking plant called JBS rather, which that group is also said to have hacked. So the U.S. government was very concerned about this, put out a $10 million reward for any information that led them to the leaders of this organization. But there was generally a belief in the U.S. that people operated in Russia as hackers with the tacit approval of the Russian government, as long as they were not hacking the government itself or interfering in Russia. Coincidentally, this happens at a time when Russian systems, government systems, were being hacked, but it's not clear that those are at all related. A multi-nation operation reportedly had disabled this group's ability to operate. But the U.S. government was not confident that it was actually going to be able to get a hold of these people. Russian TV today showed Russian agents, the FSB, intelligence service, and police going to 25 addresses, arresting 14 people and charging them with charges that could lead to up to 7 years in prison. Now, the Russian government says it will not deport Russian citizens, but that raises the prospect that some of those in the operation who might not be Russian might actually be extradited. We're still waiting to get more information on that. But those TV images were really profound. They showed cars being seized, large piles of money, over 400 million rubles, in fact. And it suggests that if hackers thought that they could operate with impunity in Russia, there are some circumstances in which they are not safe.
As we said, this was a rare example of cooperation between the two countries at a time of high tension between them. Do we know, is there any information on how this came about?
There is not. That's the big mystery. Why is Russia suddenly cooperating with the U.S.? It might be coincidental, but there are 100,000 Russian troops around the border with Ukraine. The U.S. has protested this, NATO has protested this, and Russia is demanding that Ukraine not join NATO, among other things, demanding there's no more Western influence there militarily or otherwise. And so you have this kind of major diplomatic standoff that threatens to become a military situation. It's possible coincidence, but we still wonder whether Russia is not trying to improve relations with the U.S. at this critical juncture when you have that report that you were showing earlier, in which the U.S. government believes that Russia is on the verge of some kind of false flag operation or another operation that might set off a military conflict there.
John, many thanks indeed. Al Jazeera's John Hendren there, live in Chicago.